Since I did a review of the new Laowa 90mm macro lens a few days ago, a lot of people have asked me, should I buy the 85mm or the 90mm? What are the differences and which one is best? And in this video I'm gonna attempt to answer that question. First of all, both of these lenses are made for full frame cameras. You can of course put them on an APS-C camera as well, but I don't really see the point in that, as Laowa already makes the excellent 65mm lens, which is very small and optimized for APS-C. But if you do have a full frame mirrorless camera, these are the two best options I think in terms of macro lenses. Laowa's lenses are the only ones that go to 2x magnification, and both the 85mm and the 90mm from Laowa is perfect optically. I was not able to see any flaws, and I think both of them render beautiful photos. Beautiful bokeh, very nice sharpness. I am not able to tell the difference between photos taken with either of these lenses. So first of all, I think that image quality should not be a consideration of yours. That is pretty much equal, I would say, between these two lenses. So what are the differences between these two lenses? There are two main differences, and these are the ones that I think you should consider before making a decision on what lens to buy. The first difference is obviously the size. The Laowa 85mm is a lot smaller than the 90mm and a lot lighter, basically half the weight. And you can really tell the difference when you put them on your camera when you go out taking macro photos. And a lightweight macro setup is very important if you're doing freehand macro photography, as I do. For me, it's very important to find lightweight equipment because when you're holding the camera up like this, it's not always you can support it with both hands. It's a lot easier to navigate and to focus properly if the camera and the lens and the flash and everything is lightweight. And there, the 85mm of course is the clear winner. But there is another important difference between these two lenses, and that is that the Laowa 85mm only has f5.6 as its largest possible aperture, while the 90mm has f2.8, which is the common macro lens max aperture. So what difference does it make? Well, if you're shooting mostly insects, or like almost only insects, I would say it doesn't make a difference, because at those magnifications, if you use 1x or 2x magnification, which you have to do if you shoot insects and very small things, then you have to use a small aperture. f5.6, f8 or f11 is what you typically should be using all the time. And you must of course use a flash then or some other light source to get good light. But f2.8 is never something you use at 1x or more in magnification. There simply is no good way to use that. The depth of field will be too thin. So if you are doing only high magnification macro photography, if you're mostly using the lens for 1x magnification and more, then the 85mm is likely the better choice. But if you sometimes do portraits, sometimes maybe you shoot flowers and want a nice soft background bokeh. Flowers you typically shoot at like 1 meter or something away. Then f2.8 is very important to have. It's very good to have that in your lens. So the 90mm I would say is a lot more flexible. You can use it for more things than high magnification macro photography. And that's great. So if you want the most flexible lens that you can use in the most situations, then 90mm is probably the best option for you. And it's also worth noting that the 90mm is not a big macro lens. It is pretty compact, especially for a 2x macro lens. It is very compact for being that. And also it is not that heavy. It is lighter than many macro lenses out there, including many 1:1 magnification macro lenses. So the 90mm is still pretty comfortable to carry around and use. It's not like it's a huge lens. Another factor that you may want to weigh in here is that most diffusers for macro photography are made for a bigger macro lens, like the Laowa 90mm. So if you use certain diffusers, that could be a good reason to pick the 90mm because it would fit better with most diffusers on the market. And the price, I think, is pretty much the same for these two. I haven't checked recently, but it's not a big difference in price, so I don't think that the price should be your deciding factor. And by the way, if you plan on buying a Laowa macro lens, my recommendation is to order it directly from their website at venuslens.net, because they ship pretty much to every country in the world. There are some countries that they don't ship to for whatever reason, but they ship fast. They usually use like FedEx or something, and it's free shipping, so you get the lens within a few days. And please, if you like my videos, use one of my links. I will link the Laowa links below, because then I get a small kickback, which helps me run this YouTube channel, and it will not cost you anything extra. So, the choice between the 85mm and the 90mm Laowa macro lens basically comes down to this. Is a wide max aperture more important than tiny size and weight? Pick the 90mm. Is tiny size and weight more important than the f2.8 wide max aperture? Well, then pick the 85mm. It's pretty much as simple as that. That is what you need to think about. And for me, this choice is actually kind of hard. I want to buy one of these lenses, but I haven't been able to decide yet. Also, I still get a lot of questions every day about what Laowa macro lens to pick. They have so many different ones, and all of them are perfect for a certain user with a certain need and a certain camera. And I understand that it can be confusing picking between them. That is why I sometimes make this comparison with videos between two of them. But what I've also made that you really should check out is my lens guide. Go to lensguide.micaelwidell.com. And there I have a short questionnaire for you. You answer like 5 or 6 questions about your needs and your camera, and I will recommend a Laowa macro lens for you to make the decision easier. Alright guys, that's it for this video. See you soon again. Next video will probably be a photo walk with a macro lens.